So these are the 6 standard fronts we're going to use. I'll talk about a little bit. I have some clips from each one and why we see them as beneficial to what we do. But also, I know the clips might be a little, choppy tonight. So if they are, I'm going to do a lot more just talking, pictures and showing diagrams through it and showing what we do. But the first one we're going to use, and this is how we get camp started, is we're going to start what we call our stack front. And what is stack front? Stack just means that how we get lined up, we have 2 outside linebackers. We call them the Rovers. All right. From there, we also have 2 ends. We have a nose, and we have 2 backers. That's the box. That's the integrity of the box. Now, not everybody we have, this is what it looks like in our playbook, but not everybody we have, is going to have that name. What I mean by is we have a Sam outside linebacker. That Sam outside linebacker, this kid right here, he goes to the field. All right, then we have a Will outside linebacker, and he will always go to the boundary. We have what we call our Fox inside linebacker. That's our field side inside linebacker, the Fox. And then we have our monster backer. We use animals for them. Monster's our boundary side inside linebacker. We have an end, which is what we call an end. He goes to the field. And we have a tackle. He always goes to the boundary. So how we get lined up, we are 100% field boundary alignment. We don't care with our alignments where the tight end is at. That might affect the secondary slightly on, where do we align. But for the box, they always go field boundary. So we don't have to wait for tight ends to come out of a huddle. Our kids know if the ball's on a hash, which through research we have found 77% of college snaps happen on a hash. So basically 3/4 of the game is going to be on the right hash or left hash. Let's put the guys to the field that we want to the field. And what we mean by that is our field players, let's say this is the field over here, this would be our Sam, our end, our Fox, and our nose. Those field side guys are probably our better athletes. They're guys that are seniors or juniors that have some game experience under their belt. They're veterans. They're athletic. We're going to put them to the field because a lot of the plays are going to go that way. And we're going to put maybe our lesser athlete, less experienced guys into the boundary because there's less space to worry about. And it's been really good. And that way our kids don't get confused. They don't, hey, tight end trade, what do we do? This happens, that happens. They all have to know from the outside linebacker position, if I have a tight end, how do I play a tight end? Doesn't matter if I'm a Sam or a Will. How do I play the tight end? This is how I play his outside shade. This is how I play a head-up shade. This is where I play an inside 6-eye shade. How do I play a slot? And I have no tight end. We call that a detached rule. Once you got the detached rule, where's your apex point? How do I play that? All right, they have to know, both sides have to know it, but we're just trying to put the personnel in the best position to stop the offense. So we are all field boundaries. So that kind of starts with the alignment part of it and how we do it. We have a field side alignment and a boundary side alignment. We don't care about the front. So they could put, again, formation into the boundary, pro with tight end into the boundary. Doesn't matter. Our Sam doesn't go with that, for example. Our Sam is going to be to the backside of that play. But he just has a tackle read, not a tight end read. So that's how that works. So basically, stack then really just communicates, these calls really just communicate what these 3 guys inside do. The end, the nose, and the tackle, which we call the other end. Because, again, if this is tight end into the boundary, the tight end was over here, okay, these both have to know how to play on a tight end and so on. So we just, in our playbooks, just call these guys ends. And that's how they know it. Okay? So when we go stack, stack means that all 3 interior linemen, both ends and a nose, are head up on their guy. All right, at that point, it looks like we're 2-gapping. But we won't be 2-gapping. Again, we don't 2-gap. Our kids will be slanting. If they're head up, they're going to be slanting left or right. Into the A gap, into the B gap, into the C gap, maybe even into the D gap. Very rarely to the D gap. Every once in a while into an A gap, but more than likely, high percentage, we're going to go B or C gap. All right. Stack, we feel like we can get to all our calls. We feel like if we're playing cover 4, cover 3, we're doing a fire zone blitz, we're doing a man blitz, whatever blitz we have, whatever coverage we have, we feel like stack is our safe call. Stack is where we're going to line up because we feel like getting to this gap and that gap isn't that hard. Getting to this B gap inside or the C gap outside isn't that hard for our guys because our guys are going to be smaller than an offensive lineman. We should be able to rip across his face. He could cut us down once we get there, but we're going to get across his face. All right, so we spend a lot of time doing those kind of things. If we're having trouble getting across guys' face, we have a really athletic tackle, or maybe our kid's just not playing very well or retired or whatever, then we have to be able to get into different fronts. So if we're going to be anticipating us going into the B gap on a call, then we'll get our guys lined up in an Okie call. And an Okie call for us just means that the ends now go into a 4-eye. All right, not all the way into a 3, but into a 4-eye. Again, if we're going B gap, it gives us a correct chance. We've already crossed his face. Now we can defend that block a little better, but maybe invite this guard to still head down to the nose and double team on the zone play, for example. All right, and we can still get through. Whereas if we would get into a bear front, no matter which way they run zone, maybe they're gonna man it up on the outside, block us, and now we're one-on-one inside. And that might be good if we feel like we got a center that our nose is better than, and we're gonna slant him right or left, but we feel like he's a better player. We might go a lot of bear that week because a lot of schemes are going to get us to be one-on-one. And obviously if you can get penetration from your nose in a 3-4, that helps a lot. So, but a lot of times our noses, don't give us that aspect. They're big kids that, aren't going to win a lot of one-on-one quick games. But if we feel like we got that matchup, or just to change it up at times, we'll go into a bear front, which moves these guys all the way inside. But again, you can see it doesn't affect the Rovers at all. The backers, when they hear bear, they'll line out a little bit more. That's the one rule breaker. They'll line up a little wider. But the outside guys, their rules stay consistent. We have a tight end read. We have a tackle read. Do we have a wing read? And do we have a slot read? Those are the 4 things they practice every day. And then they have to know what coverages come off behind it. Then we have wide. Wide allows our ends to line up in what we call our 5. And our 5 technique ends, now this is a good, if we know we got a call, which a lot of our pass coverage calls, like cover 2, our Tampa stuff, they require the ends to be C-gap rushers. So we'll call those, and that's kind of why we built it in that way, so then we can call wide. Wide allows our ends then to jet upfield and win one-on-one pass rush moves on a tackle. And you can say, yeah, well, the offense knows that's probably where you're going. Yeah, there's a pretty good likelihood that's where we're going to go. But they still got to stop us. That's no different if we were a 4-3 and we were telling our ends to rush off the edge. But at the same time, we do enough blitzing and enough different things where these ends might crash inside. And so they got to respect it. That's why we don't have really wide ends. Essentially, if you look at a 4-3 scheme, if we were bringing this kid off the edge and slanting him in here, that's your wide end. So we always have the threat of a wide end coming off the edge. As some 4-3 wide end, wide rush end schemes call for, we always have that threat with those outside rovers or outside linebackers coming. And they do come the most. We bring our outside guys the most in what we're doing and all our coverages. We're not going to get into all our coverages tonight, but we're just going to talk more about our alignments and the rules behind it. All right, then we have strong. And strong for us is basically what I used to call under when I was a 4-3 guy. If our 5-1-3 front, and we're going to find that tight end now, but again, doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be the end. That could be the tackle if tight end's buried into the boundary. All right, but the strong side, our backers would say strong left in this case, and they're all going to align to the left. All right, to the left of their main guy. So all the rules basically come up off our tackles and our center. All right, that's where our 3 inside guys know where to align. So if we got this over here, it's going to be a 5 to the strong side, a 1 to the strong side, and a 3 to the weak side. All right, like I said, back when I was a 4-3 guy, we used to call this under. And we do this a lot, but still, let's say we got our cover 3 called and all these calls. And stem, before I get ahead of myself, stem means that they're going to align anywhere they want. Early in camp, they're probably going to line in a stack because that's what we call the most. They can line anywhere they want, but once they hear the coverage call behind, if our linebackers are calling, for example, cab right means that one guy's going C, one guy's going A, one guy's going B. All right. So if we have cab right called, then they stem and move as late as they can pre-snap, but as late as they can, hopefully the offensive line made their make call. Hey, buddy, scoop, whatever they got to make their call. Once you hear them make a call, you slide to the gap that you got to go to, because hopefully by you sliding and moving before the snap, but late in the snap count, you're able to get penetration. All right. So basically how our system works, and I'm going to get into some plays and some clips here, is that if we had cover 4 called, stack 4, our linebackers back here would make a cab left call, meaning that the D line is going to go to the C gap, the A gap, and the B gap to that side. That's where they go. All right, that's their rule. That's what they know. Cab means those are the gaps we finish off in. B, the B gap, the A gap, and the C gap. That is where we go. So now if we had Okie 4 called, that wouldn't change. Our backer's still here. Their rule will tell them, hey, cab left, cab left. So now this kid's got a rip slant across face. This kid, nothing changes from the stack alignment. And this end is already in his gap, so he just jets that gap. So one kid is executing a slant angle. Some people call it slant angle. You know, for us, it's just a slanting technique. He's going to slant across his face, get to the C gap. The other two guys, this guy's job's real easy. All right, and he just stays in his primary gap and goes. We finish in the primary gap of the call, but we can start anywhere. But it really changes how an offensive line blocks you. It's different if they're running inside zone and how they're going to block Okie compared to how they're going to block stack or how they're going to block bear. So we can dictate blocking schemes on what we anticipate we're seeing with the call, but the coverage behind doesn't mean nothing. So again, keep moving forward. If we had bear called and it was bear 4, our guys would get a cab left. He's got a rip across. He's got same deal. Now he's just a little tighter to the guard, not hard. Okay. Again, pretty simple from that end. The difference now, though, if we have a 3 technique end and he is not slanting, so in this case the end is slanting to the C gap. He's going there no matter what. But our end that's in a 3 technique, if my guard pulls, I'm reading him 100%. If he pulls that way or either way, we will lateral step with the pull when we're in a 3 technique. And if we see pull, we want to always cross face on the guy coming down. So if we're getting pull to the outside, we want to lateral step, pull, and come around. If we get pull going towards the center, all right, we're going to lateral step, try to pull, find that first open gap back there. We don't want to try to beat it with speed. We've found through years of stubbornness and trying to do that we cannot have a guy fast enough to get through there. Centers are too good, the angle's not there, and it just doesn't work. But we've had a tremendous amount of success in the last 5 years by teaching the ends to do that. And that's been very good to us, and I'm sorry for all the ink. All right, wide then. So now wide, if we had 4 called, this kid would get a cab. Well, he just stays in his gap. He's going here, and now this kid's ripping across face. All right, so it's again, one coverage teaches a lot here. Our fronts, make this thing work. Our coverages don't change. Our backers know what gaps they have in 4. The alignment doesn't really mess that up. But you'll see on film, and I'll move into the next slide, but you'll see on film, our noses don't like to get into this shade look. We spend so much time as a head-up nose that even when we call strong, our noses prefer to not be in a shade. They prefer to be head-up. We have one kid that still likes a shade, but our other 2 kids that we play 3 kids pretty much every game. 2 of our kids would rather just sit in a shade. And I could really be stubborn and say, no, you guys have to do it, but they really feel comfortable and they're really good at playing head up. So even though we call it strong, you'll see on film sometimes our noses will place as straight head up because that's where they feel most comfortable. And I don't want to change that. But one kid that really likes to, so you'll see it sometimes, you'll see a certain number on a jersey. That kid likes to play shade, the other kids really don't. So I think you have to have that flexibility as well with your kids. Communicate with them, find out what